there was a period of time in this great country when industrial and mechanical design changed and morphed in a very, very rapid and explosive way. Decisions were made, men took the risk, they actually went with their heart and they put everything into their designs, and they weren't afraid to put something out there that might give them a little butterfly in the stomach or make them a little bit nervous. They really were pushing the boundaries of design. And for me personally, that is a product of a culture that I call and I know as the American way. And the American way is what I would like to amplify, get the bugle out and blow for with Confederate motorcycles. And with these 4 or 5 new motorcycles that we can make every year, I hope it becomes contagious. I hope a lot of people will come in and copy us. Our company's always going to be anti-scale. Like to grow the company to, say, 300 or so units a year, but not really beyond that. This is about free-form, handmade craftsmanship and rough craftsmanship. And first and foremost, it's a design-driven exercise. I know we can achieve the numbers that we're talking about. The key is the products themselves are going to sell themselves. That was always the vision, design-driven and product-focused. We're getting ready to grow a little bit. It's going to be exciting. You ready? All right. Well, tonight we're gathering together here to talk a little bit about our new strategy. This is something that I've worked on with Jay Etheridge, our CFO. We have nailed it. This is something we know we can do. As a very simple strategy to move from 1 bike a week, which is essentially where we've been. We built about 1,000 bikes in 20 years. It's a 25-year brand. And we want to move to 2 motorcycles a week. Not a terribly difficult thing to do when you understand that only about 2% of the marketplace has brand awareness of Confederate when they go in to buy their new Harley, their new Ducati. And we can ramp that about 5 times with the strategic plan that we've got concerning new model launches that will occur every 8 to 12 weeks over the course of the next 3 years. And then beyond that as well. But we've got about 3 years of these products that our wonderful design team of geniuses will be showing in a few minutes. These amazing new motorcycles that we're going to be bringing out over the next 3 years. For the purposes of where we stand right now tonight, we've just issued a purchase order concluding something we've worked on for many, many years, and that is a Tier 1 chassis vendor. This is a vendor that will bring in about 200 machined bits at one time as complete chassis kits. This changes the landscape of how we build the motorcycles and how we're able to evolve the design of the motorcycles. But let's take a look up at the board. What you see is the 2 motorcycles, the 2 fighters, which are EXP 1 and 2, in the month of September, and then we slowly ramp up production in October to 4. And then we hit at 8 motorcycles a month or 2 motorcycles a week thereafter. This gens about $2.5 million worth of profit over the next 16 months. And this is with a $25,000 per month marketing budget and about $31,250 of design budget monies. This is more than enough money for this little company. We are the leanest bunch. I mean, we mandate that the money we're going to take out is going to be from an award through our ESOP account to the heroes, the true believers within the company that make it all happen. We're going to make our money on the increasing stock valuation, not by taking it out on the front end. These numbers are significantly bigger than we've ever spent on marketing and design. They will deliver on the plan that we're going to unveil tonight, and you'll see on a monthly basis that we just continue to gen money. This is the battle we were born to undertake, and that is to have modular architecture with a chassis Tier 1 vendor along with our Tier 1 vendor S&S for the powertrain package. So we've got S&S Tier 1 powertrain, and we have the chassis vendor 3D Systems, an amazing company with enormous capabilities, a big company with plenty of horsepower to get this done. And at the same time that we've got this, we've got a 9-year veteran that's built every Confederate that we've built post-Katrina in Birmingham. We've got a 9-year sales veteran. We've got a 5-year financial veteran. And I've got my Pam, the girl that I've been with for most of my life, been with the company for been with me. We've been together 30 years. She was working with me in the law business. She's been here for 25 years on the administrative side. So we've got an extremely viable, vibrant team. I tell you, nobody has a better body of work than Confederate Motorcycles. There's not a team of designers on the planet that could look at the 20-year body of work that we've got and say they have a more compelling, a more desirable body of work than the 1,000 or so motorcycles that we've built. The challenge for us is to make this move where we double the production. Going from 1 to 2, we know we can do that because we've done it before. We've built 2 bikes a week on numerous occasions. What we've never had is one vendor bringing the whole chassis at one time into the building. This is going to have a huge effect on the quality of each individual motorcycle. And I want to make sure that I explain briefly what the modularity component of this is. You're going to see the Combat Edition that Mr. Ruther will present tonight, which is the bike we're going to launch with first. We built 61 of the most powerful American motorcycles in history. And I doubt there'll ever be motorcycles this explosive that will come again. If they do, they'll come from us and they'll have different technologies. But if you always dreamed of having an air-cooled, big twin, big block American motorcycle, then this is the one to have. There will not be a more powerful one. But most importantly, what you're going to look at tonight is a plan where we repeatedly launch new product every 8 to 12 weeks, consistently for several years or forever. This is going back to the old 1950s and 60s American way concerning American design, where you actually give the customer limited quantities of very special, unique motorcycles that are like nothing else. More choice, limited production, every motorcycle a true work of art, the art of rebellion.
My name is Andrew Ruther, studied industrial design at SCAD, and I've been with Confederate Motorcycles for about 1.5 years now. Started about March of last year. I've been a gearhead pretty much my whole life. Worked on my own cars, studied automotive technology in high school. Basically, you learn through that experience. It's been sort of like a lifelong journey, and moving forward, we can always, you can always learn new stuff, but there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. If there was something successful that they had done back in the the teens and the 20s, and we can bring that back into a modern design, I think that's exciting. I really can't wait for the future because this is just the beginning. We can go so much more radical than what we've already done, even though this is a crazy bike. Here we have just kind of an exploded view starting with the heart of the motorcycle, which is the brand new CX4 cases that S&S helped us develop. And you can see we're already fully integrating the downdraft intake manifold system. And we can show that in an exploded view where we show both a twin plate throttle body and the twin independent downdraft intake manifold, which will actually be cut from a solid block of billet aluminum, 6061, and they actually are going to be cutting that on a 5-axis billet machine. So once these things come together, we can put that right onto the engine, and you can see that we started to incorporate a equal length header system that was a little more elegant and simpler to manufacture. We've already incorporated a heat shield that'll help us with putting this thing together and keeping the rider comfortable. So once we have this whole entire engine package incorporated, we then go back over to the engine and we can start putting this thing actually together. For the chassis, it comes together in a multitude of pieces, but it's the first bike where we've actually fully incorporated a structural air box. This is where we're able to incorporate structure, the air volume to bring the actual intake noise and volume down, and producing the actual air volume that we needed to produce the horsepower that we wanted. Here we have the intake. Well, it's actually 3 pieces. If we were to actually look at one individual piece, we can then show you how individual components are manufactured, being as you have one op, and then you'll have your second op, where we basically cut out the whole interior section of one side of this intake box. And then our final op, which is basically just the air window, which we can remove to get better airflow for, say, a salt flats application, or we close it off for a quieter, street-friendly version. We briefly discussed the CX4 platform and how individual components are brought into it to marry the whole bike together. So we start with the engine, because without it, we can't build a bike. So right now, what I've pulled away from the CX4 engine is the cam cover with the exposed cam belt system. It's part of the long history of Confederate motorcycles. We pulled away the slave cylinder. That's an individually machined CNC billet housing. There are the rear supports, our battery case, and our equal length header system that leads right into our MagnaFlow exhaust. So we'll put all this together, start building a motorcycle.
My name is Jordan Corneal. I've been with the company for almost 3 months now. Real excited to be here. It's always been a dream to work at Confederate. And so one of the first projects Matt put me on when I got here day one was starting a sketch program on different trim levels or different variations of the P-51 fighter. Different models that can excite different groups of people. So this first sketch you see here, one of the early sketches, is of a chopper variant of the P-51 fighter. So it's got a lower scooped out seat, so we removed that rear circle to lower the seat. We'd put forward foot controls on it, higher bars, kind of a more relaxed, comfortable position as opposed to the sportier cafe style sport position. And then the other variation of that variation would be the bobber, which would be essentially the same bike as the chopper, with a fatter front tire, which is a look that we believe a lot of gentlemen would prefer. So that gives you 2 options within that sub-brand of the fighter category. The other variation that we're working on is more of a cafe style fighter, and that's kind of a straight across, a straight line, more of a European style fighter. So that's this bike right here, and that bike, just like the chopper, would be offered as a sport bobber version, which would have a fatter front tire, but other than that, it'd be the same bike. So you get sort of 2 different looks from the same model. And we think that's advantageous for us, offering our customer more styles with essentially the same bike. The second project, the project I've been working on for a couple days now, and this was a really cool project for me. I came into work one morning and Matt brought me back to his office, and we had been working on this V-twin engine that's kind of slanted forward and has some horizontal fins, kind of a real aggressive, cool look. And Matt kind of told me to see what I could do with it. We looked at the old Confederate concept, the Renovatio concept, and I was looking at G2 Hellcats with that exhaust swing arm, which I think is a really cool idea. So the idea behind this concept bike is something that's very lightweight and lightweight looking, something that has a lot of negative space, it's very open, it's very minimal. So what I did was I slanted the engine enough so that the rear cylinder is vertical, and I just put the seat right on the head of that rear cylinder, so there's no subframe or anything. And we thought that could be a cool opportunity to explore new heat-resistant materials. In my opinion, it's just a badass bike. I don't think anyone could sit on this bike and not look cool. And so this is my vision of what a future concept for the company could be. Something that's just super minimal. It doesn't have anything it doesn't need, and it just makes you look like a badass.
What I really like to do is make the new motorcycles. It's really almost childlike. It's almost like I want to go back and get on Santa's lap. I mean, I just want to make these toys. And sometimes I think, in the form of a story, sometimes I fantasize or imagine that what I really want to do is go back to October the 31st, Halloween night in 1967, when my buddy Keenan Mingert pitched me the keys to his 160 Honda on the fairgrounds in Prairieville, where we were like hanging out with a bunch of really cute little girls, and there was like an area where you could ride his little Honda around real slow in front of these girls, and I just felt so empowered on that little black 160 Scrambler. And quite frankly, I could jump on that 132 and bang around 2nd Avenue here down the old drag strip for this town, which is right out in front of us. But it's not as special as that little bitty 160 was when I was 13 years old. So I wonder if some of this stuff with these, these big Lowry motorcycles isn't just an attempt for us, folks in the latency period of middle age or whatever, to want to kind of recapture some of that wonderful, some of those wonderful feelings of youth, which is certainly a great reason to have an amazing toy like that. But I just want to be able to keep making the toys. I believe and I know that if we're diligent, we can move fast. We have all the tools, and all of you guys want to do that anyway. We can make 4 or 5 new products every year for the foreseeable future.
When I came on board and we were faced with the task of marketing the P51, it was really, uncharted territory for the brand. The brand has never really jumped full scale into marketing before. And it's done well in spite of having a marketing. It's done an average of 1 bike a week for the past 27 years, which is great. But there comes a time, as Matt said, when you want to go from 1 to 2. You want to push beyond what you've done. And marketing is the best way to do that. And the question, I guess, now is, given all the products that Matt talked about that we're going to be coming out with, and given the P51 and how exciting that is and how awesome the bike is, can we make that leap from 1 bike a week to 2, and from 2 to 3? And the answer is, if we can do 1 bike a week with no marketing, then going from 2 to 3 a week with marketing is not just a matter of chance, it's not just a matter of probability, it's a matter of certainty. It's just simple logic. And the way we're going to do that is not just market the way that other companies in the industry market. It's to do something better than what they're doing now. It's to do something different. And the best way to do that is to go digital. And that's the strategy that we've chosen to adopt. It's not just about being in this magazine or having a TV ad or being paying $3.5 million to do a Super Bowl spot. It's not about that. It's about going where customers are today. And today, that means digital. It means online. So we're going to be very aggressive in pursuing these online opportunities and these digital marketing opportunities. We're going to be smart and focused about it, and we're going to do it in a cost-effective way, but we're going to be doing it in a very aggressive way. And we're going to do anything and everything you can possibly do online to get your name in front of people and to show them that you're there and that you exist and that they cannot ignore you at all. And I'm talking everything from pay-per-click advertising, Google AdWords, display banners, ad retargeting, email marketing, social media, digital PR, traditional PR. Every tool that we have in our toolbox, and it's a freaking big toolbox, we're going to be doing that in a very aggressive, focused manner. And already we've had incredible success with just a young campaign. We've only been doing this for barely a week. And in just a week's time, we've had tens of thousands of impressions, hundreds of clicks. We've sent our website traffic up 1,000%. And that's just the beginning. That's just scratching the surface. At the end of the day, people will know about this bike and people will know about this company. That's a guarantee. The only question is, how much fun are we going to have doing it along the way? And we're going to have a shit ton of fun along the way. Because that's what marketing is, that's what building motorcycles is. It's the same thing. It's about putting a product in front of people so that they either love it or hate it. Either way, they pay attention to it. And if we know the market as well as we think we do, and we know our target audience, and we know our buyers as well as we think we do, then we're going to sell bikes. That's just a given. So I'm excited about where the brand's going. I love this brand, I love the company, and I love the products that we're doing, and I think the P51 is the most exciting bike I've ever seen. And that excitement and that enthusiasm is what we're going to communicate with our digital marketing strategy to anyone and everyone who would remotely consider buying this bike. And that's how we're going to sell not this bike, but every other bike that comes afterwards.